What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Darren. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. And of course, I love to look good and I love to smell amazing. So if you're like me and you come to this channel and you love smelling your best and looking your best, then you've come to the right channel. Why don't you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and click on the bell icon as well. That way you guys can get notified every time I release a new video and you don't miss out on this great content. This week I featured the house of Parfums de MARLY on my top 10. I went through my top 10 fragrances in my collection from that house. And the number one fragrance on the list was the fragrance Layton. And I realized, man, you know what? I've never done an actual full review on Layton. So to kick off this episode of my 2 Cents Tuesdays, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a review and of course, just my 2 cents on the fragrance. So if you want to know my thoughts on Layton, then you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Okay guys, I am back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's go right ahead and jump into talking about Layton. So of course, first, as we do, if you've never seen it, let's take a little bit closer look at the presentation on this bottle. And here it is. And my God, isn't she a beauty? I absolutely love this bottle. I actually love the bottles in general from the house of Parfums de MARLY. They have a great presentation as far as the bottles. The caps are extremely heavy. All the caps are the same, of course. Very, very heavy caps. I mean, of course, you can take somebody's eye out with this cap, so be careful. But it's a nice, dark, kind of midnight blue color on the bottle. The spray on this thing is fantastic. I'll give you guys a spray right there in the air. But man, this stuff is great. The bottle is great. Absolutely love the presentation on the bottles from this house. They all are pretty much the same as it relates to the presentation. Of course, the color just changes. You do have several different collections. So you have some with the dark, you have some clear bottles, and then you have a collection where you have the black bottle with the gold cap. But pretty much just overall, the bottles are pretty much the same with all the fragrances from this house. But man, I absolutely love the bottle color on this one. Now this fragrance does come in 2 different sizes. You can get the 75 ml bottle for $215, and you can get the 125 ml bottle for $310. Now, of course, that's the price that you're going to find if you go to the Parfums de MARLY website, but this fragrance is available on other discounted sites. So now you can find this fragrance for between that $130 to $200 price range, depending on the size bottle that you get. So I will tell you ahead of time, especially if you can get it in that price range, it is a good value for the money to have this one right here in your collection, because I want to play spoiler early on in the review, but I will tell you that it's a fragrance that I thoroughly enjoy. Now let's get a little bit more into the notes of this fragrance. So some of the main notes to my nose are apple. You have a nice fresh geranium note in this as well. You have mandarin orange, you have vanilla, you have cardamom, pepper, and patchouli. So let's go ahead and give this fragrance a fresh spray. And let's talk a little bit more about what you actually get from those notes. All right, so I sprayed it earlier as well. So I just want to talk a little bit more about what it smells like. To me, this is definitely a kind of sweet, spicy oriental fragrance. It opens up with a very nice, fresh, mouth-watering, succulent apple note. You have as well a nice mandarin orange and bergamot note that really plays more of supporting notes in the opening. The opening of this fragrance for me is really about the apple, but those other notes give a really nice fruity accord in the opening of the fragrance. Now, it doesn't take long at all when you start to really get some of the more spicier oriental elements of this fragrance in the opening. I mean, immediately almost. I mean, within the first 2 minutes, I start to really get some of the spices into my nose. That is really coming from the cardamom. Now, pepper is a note in this as well. So they really, of course, combine to really give this fragrance a really spicy, with spicy accords throughout the life of the fragrance. Really, again, like I said, from the opening, you start to really pick up the spicier elements in this fragrance, but it blends really, really well in the opening with the nice citrusy, fruity opening that you get in the fragrance. Now, as you transition to the heart of this fragrance, you also, as I said before, are going to get a nice freshness. And that freshness comes from a very aromatic lavender in this fragrance. But really, to me, the star player is the geranium. Now, the geranium, the way it's used in this fragrance, gives this fragrance a nice freshness. And I think this really plays well because when you look at the note breakdown, again, it's really spicy and it's really sweet, but geranium helps to keep the fragrance fresh. So I like the way that is balanced in this fragrance and the way that the geranium is used. Now, there are other floral notes listed here, like I think it's violet, maybe in this fragrance, and jasmine. And I get a little bit of a floral undertone in the heart, but again, to me, the heart of it is really about the more aromatic, fresher notes like geranium and lavender. Now, when you get into the real dry down of this fragrance, the heart of the dry down in this fragrance, it really becomes all about the more sweet and peppery and woody undertones that you get in Layton. It has a beautiful patchouli. The patchouli does give it a slight bit of earthiness, a little bit of body as the fragrance really dries down. But it's really about the woods in this. It's a beautiful, creamy sandalwood that plays really, really nice with that vanilla. And of course, you're still getting, throughout the life of the fragrance, you're getting a nice spicy accords as well. And again, the spiciness is coming from the pepper and the cardamom. But as the fragrance dries down, again, the opening notes that you had in this fragrance have really, of course, subsided. But what I will say is, throughout the life of the fragrance, I do continue to pick up the apple. The apple note seems to really stick around throughout the life of this fragrance to my nose, and it's really, really nice. Again, it gives it a nice fruity vibe throughout the life of the fragrance, and that plays really, really well with the spicy cardamom and the really sweet vanilla that really starts to become stronger once you get about an hour into the fragrance. Sweeter notes in this fragrance, like vanilla, really, really start to take over when you get to about that hour mark in the fragrance. But like I said, the apple sticks around for the life, and the spices stick around for the life of the fragrance. So it's just gives it a really, really nice, slightly playful but sweet, sexy, and seductive overall vibe that you get from Layton. Now, my overall opinion of the fragrance is that I absolutely love this fragrance. Like I said, of my Parfums de Marly collection, this was #1 for me. I absolutely love this fragrance. I won't say that it's overhyped. A lot of people like to talk about overhyped, but I think that's just comes down to personal preference. I always tell you guys, I don't care what other people say about a fragrance. If I like it, I like it. I'm going to rock it. I'm going to talk about it. And this is one that I really, truly love. And in my humble opinion, any hype that it gets, it is well worth it because it's that doggone good. Now, as far as performance on this fragrance, I get between 8 to 9.5 hours on average when I wear this. Now, I will say that this fragrance can be signature scent whether you can wear it year round, but in my humble opinion, of course, it is best for fall and winter, primarily fall. Great fragrance in my humble opinion to wear around that time of the year because again, it's really a more sweet and spicy fragrance. You know, the apple is a main note here, is one of the primary notes here as well, but it's really more about the spices and the sweetness in this fragrance. And typically, fragrances that are really spicy and sweet are better in colder temperatures. So overall, at the end of the day, guys, I mean, the Bowtie fragrance guy would definitely recommend this fragrance. Get it at the best price that you can get it, but I think, especially if, like I said earlier, if you fall anywhere in between that 130 to 200 price range and being able to pick up a bottle of this, I say go ahead definitely and jump on it because, in my humble opinion, if I put this scale on 1 to 10, this is an absolute 10 for me. I love this fragrance. It is a definite winner. And again, the #1 Parfums de Marly fragrance in my personal collection. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video as I gave you guys my 2 cents on the fragrance Layton from the house of Parfums de Marly. I know you guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with me, taking the time out to watch this video, and I don't take that for granted. I sincerely appreciate that. But don't forget to take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. And guys, share these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or find me entertaining, because I'm your main man, Mandarin, the bow-tie fragrance guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good and keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.